All right, this is a short story I wrote. Okay, wait, let me redo this. This is a story called Just a Second. Here it goes. Just a second. In London, England, there was a casino called Grillsmorf. Inside, Tamalio sat at a small table. Sitting across from him was his friend Marks McKillian. Tamalio said, "Did you hear about the chef tonight?" "No," answered Marks. Tamalio continued with saying, "It's a new guy in the kitchen now. Apparently the last chef got shot and killed in the back parking lot last night." "Gee," said Marks, "but why did anyone do that?" Tamalio answered with, "Apparently the chef didn't make such a mean spaghetti sauce that night." "Oh," answered Marks, "that's crazy." On a stage nearby, the Grillsmore showgirls were now starting their performance for the night. Tamalio leaned in to talk with Marks. "I have a crush on the showgirl in the pink dress." Marks replied with, "Man, you gotta be careful with that." "Why is that?" asked Tamalio. "Because," says Marks, "she's got a boyfriend, and I hear that he kills people." "Oh man," Tamalio said, "that's too bad." "Hey," said Tamalio, "I'm gonna go ask Daniel if they're having a jam after work." "Okay, cool," answered Marks. Tamalio stood up and pushed the chair back towards and under the table and then said, "Okay, I'll be back in just a second." Tamalio walked over to the bar and asked Daniel the question. "Yeah," replied Daniel. "I'll be heading over there when I get off the clock in about 5 minutes." "Okay, cool," said Tamalio. "I'll head on over there in a few." Tamalio walked back to the table where Marks was still sitting. "The guys are having a jam tonight," said Tamalio. Marks answered, "Well, I'd love to go, but I have an early shift in the morning. Guess I'd better get back to the house." Tamalio said good night to Mark and that he'll see him later. Then he walked out of the casino to his car. Tamalio drove over to the shed at Daniel's house, parked, then got out to the shed. Inside it was lively and packed with a big crowd. Tamalino then noticed that the showgirl in the pink dress was standing there, over by the far wall to his left, and she was talking to some people. Tamalio walked over to the bar and sat on a stool. He took a swig of his drink and then saw Daniel walking into the shed. Daniel walked up and sat on the stool next to Tamalio. "So how's it going?" Tamalio asked Daniel. "Oh, pretty good," Tamalio replied. Then Tamalio happened to notice that the showgirl in the pink dress was standing next to a tall man. He figured it must be her boyfriend. Tamalino saw a security guard walk up to the couple and looked at another guy who had been talking to them. Then the security guy got the young guy out of the shed. Thought Tamalio. I wonder what that was about. Tamalio took another shot of his drink when he noticed that the showgirl's boyfriend was now walking towards the shed's door. "Hey, Charles," said the security guy. "What's up?" Charles replied, Hang on, bro. I'll be back in just a second." Charles walked on out of the shed. Thought Tamalio, something's up. Daniel then said to Tamalio, "Well, I'm going to go help out in the bar. I'll be around." "Okay, cool," Tamalio replied. Tamalio then saw the door to the shed open as Charles walked back into the party. Charles walked back to the girl in the pink dress. Suddenly, a girl burst open the doorway, ran inside, and yelled, "That guy who just got kicked out of here, he's dead." Then an older man quickly sprinted through the door and said, "She's right, he's dead. And there are 2 bloody puncture marks in the corpse's neck." The end.